Hi, I'm going to do some string comparisons of nylon type strings. I'm going to try them on this old, it's an HC Nelson banjo, slightly stuffed, mahogany 2-foot bridge and tailpiece there, nice tailpiece. Do one of the tie-done ones. Yeah, so it's a nice banjo. It's got a synthetic head on it, a fibre skin head. I'm going to keep that the same. I'm going to change the strings and see how we get on. Yeah, so the strings that are on it now are a standard nylon set from Andy Banjo. Nothing to do with me, although that's where I bought them from. But apart from that, nothing to do with me. And it's just a standard medium set. I'm afraid I don't know the gauges of those. I'll perhaps put them in the notes below. And these are not new. They've been on for a little while now, maybe a couple of months, but it's had fairly low levels of being played. That's how I got it tuned. It's just standard G tuning, but a bit lower, probably F or so. I'll put the tuner on it, and I'll make sure that the others are tuned the same. But kind of playing pretty much as loud as I could, as hard as I could, and that's what I'll aim to do with the others. Obviously I might play a bit differently, and, I haven't got a machine plucking these things with the same amount of force each time, but never mind, music's not really like that. So that's the sort of standard, really quite low budget Andy Banjo nylon string. I don't know, maybe £7 for a set or something. So they're still not cheap, but that's what they are. So I'm going to put it on pause and do some changing. I'll do Nylgut strings next. So now I've got them changed. Took a little while, not too bad. That's what I've just put on. So these are Aquila Red Series classic banjo strings with a wound fourth. The other had a wound fourth as well. It's tuned approximately the same. When you change nylon strings, very often you get a lot of slippage and tunes, so that wasn't tuned a minute ago, and now it's not. The ones that tend to stretch more are the non-wound strings, and funny enough, in the middle, I'm not sure why, maybe they're a bit longer in length up to the peg, I don't know. Anyway, the fifth and the first tend to settle down and stay in tune best first, and the wound fourth tends to as well. And that's partly because of the stretch, and it's partly because when the strings are wound around the post, it just sort of slips and tightens a bit as it's going through, because it's quite slippery material. It's on friction tuners, and if ever you get an old banjo like this and you're tempted to change out from friction tuners, don't do it, because if you're playing with nylon strings, they work totally fine as long as there's a good fit. So no need to change. And I don't even clean, because I think quite often that whatever's on them is helping them hold. Anyway, that's that. Every time you get something like that, it takes a little while just to retighten and to lose any of the looseness around the peg. Slipping there. That will settle and just, it stops completely. Settled, still a bit sippy, but hopefully you can hear the difference in tone with that. I think somehow it's just a little bit, it's a bit louder. They stay in tune better once they're there. They stretch less, a bit more stable perhaps. But maybe the tone's just not quite as clear as the standard nylon ones from Andy Banjo, and these are probably double the price, maybe. Not quite, perhaps 12 instead of 7. I'm going to put it on pause, and I'm going to put the next set of strings on, which this time will be these. So these are Labella Banjo String 17s. The gauges on these is a 19, 22, 28, 25 wound on the 4th, and then 19 on the 5th. So yeah, I'll put it on pause. I'll string those up and try and get them stabilised a bit. But these are probably going to take a little bit longer to stabilise, which we might see or we might not. Anyway, here we go. All right. So I've not fully wound these strings on yet, but I'm just going to show you this, because each one of these Labella strings comes with a tiny little plastic cube, which hopefully you can see on there, which is fine, makes it easy to see which string goes where. That's not that hard anyway. It's a bit of a waste of plastic really, Labella. Yeah, I'm going to get them fitted and then come back. Okay, so these are the Labella number 17s, and they're sort of stabilised a bit now. They're not quite there, but it's this 5th string that's going again, so that's okay. I think these ones have stabilised a bit quicker than the Andy Banjo ones and the Nylgut ones, which is interesting. But let's see how that holds up to a bit of doing something. So that's still strings stabilising, it's not the pegs slipping, it's still just giving a little bit. But actually, oh, there we are, that one's gone too. So I'm going to read those on for a bit and see. One thing I would say is there's a really good scale length on these strings. So if you've got a bigger, I don't know, tack head or something with a longer scale length, yeah, they'd certainly be up for that. This is a relatively short scale length on the HC Nelson, but yeah. So that's the 3 different strings: Andy Banjo standards, nylons, relatively cheap, and then the Nylgut Red Series, and then Aquila Labella 17s at the end, which do seem to have sort of stabilised a bit quicker. And no, know if people say they're brighter. I don't know that they're brighter necessarily. But there is a nice clear tone, and they have stabilised, I think, a bit quicker, and that's good. I don't know if they'll stay as stable when they're on as the Nylguts do, but we'll see. And yeah, so that's that. Hope it's helped. And thanks for watching.